Welcome. What if we've been taught self care wrong? Let me tell you one of the biggest lies busy women have been taught about self care. We think that self care is something that we do when we finally have time, when we don't have the kids, when they don't need us, when the parents don't need us, when work slows down, when the house is clean, when we're finished with everything on our list. And if you're waiting for that day to arrive, you may be waiting forever. Because the truth is, self care isn't about finding more time, it's about learning how to include yourself in the life you're already living. And here's another lie: self care is selfish. How many times have we been told that? Good women, we take care of others. Strong women, we don't complain. Responsible women, we get the things done. Everything else and everybody else's needs are more urgent than ours, and rest has to be earned. Taking care of yourself means you're neglecting someone else typically. And somewhere along the way, we've also learned to measure our worth by how much we can actually carry and how much we can lift others up, right? But here's the problem. If you're constantly giving from a place that is already pretty empty, eventually your body starts sending you messages that you can't ignore. Your nervous system begins to learn how to work in extreme stress, right? And so it begins to try to protect us. So the body then releases more of the stress hormone, the cortisol. And over time, that begins to deteriorate us from the inside out. The next lie is I need more time. You don't necessarily need an entire Saturday at the spa. You probably need about 10 minutes where nobody needs anything from you, or where you don't allow folks to intrude on that 10 minutes to breathe, that 10 minutes to just notice your body, that 10 minutes where you get to ask, what do I need right now? Just for me. Self care can be 3 intentional breaths before you answer the phone. It can be sitting in your car for an extra 2 or 3 minutes before walking into the house. It can mean saying, I can't take that on today, or I can do this, but I can't do that. It can be going to bed instead of scrolling endlessly on your phone. It can be taking a walk. Self care can look like stretching or moving, meditating for 10 minutes. Maybe it looks like eating without rushing through a meal. I think that was also my problem. Not only was I not eating the greatest food for my body, but I was also rushing my eating. Pausing before automatically saying yes can be major. And you can say, I just need a little time to think about it. I need a little time to pray about it. Self care isn't always an activity. Sometimes it's simply a decision that you have chosen to make. Here's another lie. This is a big one. Self care should make me feel good. Sometimes self care is uncomfortable. It depends on your starting point, right? If you're just going, stopping can bring you face to face with yourself. Sometimes rest can feel uncomfortable because when we finally stop moving, when we finally stop becoming so busy, we can finally begin to hear what our body is saying to us. And rest can feel really uncomfortable if you're exhausted, if you're angry, if you're grieving, if you're feeling any type of resentment for all the things you're doing for everybody else. You may have to confront loneliness or some unmet need that you haven't slowed down long enough to notice. Maybe it's about boundaries that need to be established. That doesn't mean that that rest is wrong. It may mean your body finally feels safe enough for you to notice what's there. Here's another lie, and I want you to actually answer this question. I'll take care of myself when you fill in the blank. What is keeping you from taking care of yourself? What is keeping you from making yourself a priority? Is it work? Is it taking care of everybody else? Maybe it's I'll do it when I lose weight, right? Or when I retire, or when things get better. But what if taking care of yourself isn't supposed to happen after life gets better? What if taking care of yourself is part of how you become better equipped to live the life that you already have? Think about that. Let's talk about self care versus self abandonment. There's a big distinction here. Self abandonment sounds like everybody else comes first. It can sound like I'm fine. Oh, it's not that serious. I'll deal with it later. They need me right now more than I need to take care of myself. I don't have time for me. I got to do all these other things. And by the time I'm done with all these other things, I am worn out. On the other hand, self care can sound like I matter too. Let me check in with myself, noticing when you need a break and then taking the break. Again, saying, I can't do that today. And maybe even offering another solution about how that can be taken care of. I did some volunteerism for an organization that I absolutely love. And I did a long time of volunteering in a certain way. When it came time to let it go, I was able to do that. But now some things have shifted, and the people who took over are no longer there. And so it came back around to me to do that again. And I was struck because I felt guilty. I felt guilty. I knew it wasn't mine to do, but I felt guilty. So I'm like, oh, I have the skills. I could probably make it work. Even though some things have changed and I don't know certain things anymore, I was still like, oh. So what I did, and I'm the type of person that I like to respond right away because I don't like things stacking up on my plate. Like that brings me anxiety. So I like to respond right away, but I didn't in this particular case. I kind of sat with it for a minute. Yes, I did some breathing and I did some other things, honestly. A couple hours later, I came back and I declined, but I did offer another solution because I had had time to pause and to think about it, right? The power really is in the pause and knowing that you don't have to take on more than what is required of you in this particular time in your life. right? So I have a challenge for you. Tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, before you turn on any electronics, give yourself 10 minutes. And you can grab a pen and paper to write this down. First question you want to ask yourself is, what am I feeling? Not what I should be feeling, but what am I actually feeling? And then notice where you feel that in your body. So the next question is, where do I feel it in my body? Where am I tight? Right? Where could I relax a little more? Maybe I could relax my shoulders or my jaw. Maybe I could try to do some belly breathing, right? Expanding the belly on the inhale, releasing on the exhale. Shallow breathing might happen. Or you might feel your heart begin to race, right? So where do you feel it in your body? Maybe you feel it somewhere else I haven't mentioned. That's for you to answer. And then the third question is, what do I need today? Just today. Let's not worry about down the line, the following day, the next week. What do I need today? Not what everybody else needs, but what do I need? And then no, you're not trying to solve anything in those 10 minutes. You're simply practicing. You're practicing and you're honing a skill, right? And the more that you practice, the better you get at it. So practice listening to yourself. And this is where I want to say something specifically to Black women. Know that there are very real reasons why taking care of yourself can feel complicated. We don't live in a vacuum. We have real responsibilities and people that really need us. We probably have economic pressures, right? Got to get to that job, perhaps, so that the check can continue to come. We may have caregiving responsibilities, work expectations that sort of wear us out, racial stress. And sometimes the expectation that we're supposed to keep going no matter what. That is huge in our community. So I'm not really telling you to simply make yourself a priority as if you can magically remove those types of responsibilities from your life. That's not realistic. I'm asking you to begin with something smaller. Begin by noticing yourself. Sometimes we do feel overwhelmed with all the responsibilities that we have. But notice. I learned that I couldn't wait until life became less busy to take care of myself when I had that hospital scare. All the tools that I've learned, the yoga, the meditation, the mindfulness, the breath awareness, that's not going to make life magically easier. But those tools that you can use can help you experience life differently. I think that's one of the strongest ways that we can begin to take care of ourselves. Self care isn't about adding another thing to your already impossible to do list. It's learning to it's learning to listen to yourself while you're living your life. Sometimes it might be meditation. Sometimes it's movement. Because when we're not moving, things stay stagnant in the body. And that's how I work trauma through my body. Right after my dad passed, he passed around um, Pentecost Sunday. And I am a woman of movement. I'm very kinesthetic, and I knew I needed to begin to work that grief out. And so on Pentecost Sunday, I was there with my streamer because not only was it helping other people to help them with the worship experience, but it was definitely helping me, right? Sometimes self care might look like setting a boundary and sticking to it and being accountable to yourself, right? Having self integrity. Sometimes it's asking for help. I know sometimes that was very hard for me is to begin to ask for help. Sometimes it's simply saying no without any more words. No, period, right? No, that's a sentence. And sometimes really using that breath, taking those 3 to 10 breaths before you answer someone or taking that long pause. So if you're telling yourself, I don't have time for self care, I want you to try something different. Don't ask, how can I find more time? Ask yourself, how can I stop abandoning myself in the time that I already have? Because you don't have to wait to begin to make those changes. You don't have to wait until everybody else is okay. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to collapse before allowing yourself to take care of yourself. Maybe it's about finally listening to the person you've been asking to wait, and that is you. If this resonated with you at all, subscribe, share this video with someone, like this video. I want us to move from simply surviving to thriving, right? And learning how to come home to ourselves. Don't forget to remember what you already know. Be well.